Okay. Hello. Just to give a little bit of background, Kim and I are both paramedics, and our research experience is in the pre-hospital arena. Up until recently, there has been very little research of any scale conducted in the pre-hospital arena in the UK. As a result, there are relatively few people doing pre-hospital research, and there isn't a great deal of infrastructure supporting it in this area. For instance, in South Western Ambulance Service, where we both work, there isn't anybody with a PhD working in the research department, but that will hopefully change shortly. Kim and I are happy to represent this area, but as our experience is limited, we thought we might club together and offer a little bit more between us. So about me specifically, I've been in the ambulance service for 15 years and started my journey into research a few years ago when I began doing an MRes at Southampton, which is actually still ongoing. And I started working as a full-time research paramedic just over a year ago. My first-hand experience of research to date has been predominantly with one study, the Airways 2 study. I am one of 4 research paramedics. I am the research paramedic for the Southwest area. The study is a NIHR-funded cluster randomised trial comparing 2 different ways of managing people's airways in cardiac arrest. We require... Oh, was that? Sorry, that wasn't. No, we need to recruit about 500 paramedics to take part in the trial. We've already delivered over 100 2-hour training sessions to get the paramedics involved in the study. That we are recruiting or enrolling patients into the trial by the intention to treat principle. In order to avoid missing any potential patients, one of my main roles is to make sure that we review all cardiac arrests and make sure we haven't missed any potential patients. Just in the Southwest, we need to recruit over 2,000 patients during the 2-year study. That we have faced a number of challenges with rolling out this large trial. As I say, there is very little experience of this kind of research within this sector. We are using a relatively unusual research model in terms of the fact that we're having to roll out a lot of the responsibilities of conducting the research to a very disparate and large number of clinicians rather than professional researchers having those roles. And also the subject matter is quite controversial. Intubation is a key representative skill for the profession and does produce some controversy and some doubts about whether people might want to take part in the trial. My only other real experience of research personally is my MRes study, which is based on around the triage process. Currently, relatively recently, a system has been introduced where if a call is considered to be non-life-threatening, we have a 3-minute period in which to complete triage before having to discharge an ambulance. Obviously, a decision has to be made in the first instance as to whether the call is life-threatening or not, and we use a system called nature of call to do that. However, there is currently no published research as to whether that is an effective system. So my study is a diagnostic accuracy study of this system, testing its sensitivity and specificity. And I'll now hand over to my senior partner.
It's not filming, is it?
It is.
Oh, is it? Okay. So I'm also a paramedic. I work full-time in research, and I'm working my way up through the NIHR clinical academic research training pathway. So Just to give you a bit of an overview of the research I've been doing, I've been working on a study called CAHPR, which is about improving outcomes from hospital cardiac arrest, and the main part of that work was setting up a registry linking data between pre-hospital through to in-hospital to discharge if patients survive that far through the chain. We also did a feasibility study looking at post-ROSC oxygenation levels in our hospital cardiac arrest patients, and we did some qualitative work around paramedic resuscitation decision making as part of other work I've done a service evaluation looking at pre-hospital lactate testing to identify sepsis pre-hospital, and we were given, along with a couple of colleagues, we investigated the impact of shift work on UK paramedics. We received £1,000 from the College of Paramedics Small Grant Fund. I've completed my master's in clinical research, and my dissertation was about paramedic prescribing and advancing paramedic practice, and we did a series of qualitative interviews with key actors to complete that. So I'm the lead research paramedic on Airways 2, which John has already explained, and I coordinate 4 research paramedics in Yorkshire, John in East Midlands and East of England Ambulance Service. So that takes up most of my time. So I just want to say a little bit about the Integrated Clinical Academic Programme, which is what I'm on. And this is you might all be aware of this, but this, allied health professionals are eligible to apply for this programme. It's a really good way to get into clinical academic training, and this is the pathway. So it's postgraduate training, and you can get funding for an internship to work your way up to do your master's, or I've finished my master's and I now have funding on an internship to work my way up to do my doctoral research, which I'll apply for in March. So it's just a route into your clinical academic training. And my interest in areas of development, obviously out of hospital cardiac arrest, I seem to have fallen into that, and I'm interested in identifying cardiac arrest patients early in the chain of survival at the start of the call, and telephone CPR. I'd like to develop my qualitative research skills, and I'm interested in health and welfare of the paramedic profession. That's us. Thank you for listening.